Well, I would like to declare.
I don't see our applicant here. Mr. Lonnie isn't here yet, but
Well, we'll get to.
we'll get to him.
Yeah,
We'll do the rest of our stuff so we can.
sure. I would like to declare the September 8th meeting of the New Paltz Zoning Board of Appeals open as of 7:01. I'll do roll call. Phil Soubet.
Present.
Pat Schwartz is not currently here. Leonard Loza is absent. Joe Dusso.
Here.
Ed Burke present. And our attorney Joe Moriello is here. First line of business, we'll review and approve minutes from our August 11th meeting. Have you guys had an opportunity to review them?
Yes.
Would like to thank Patricia for taking the minutes last month and for Kelly for transcribing them. With that said, I will entertain a motion to accept the minutes from our August 11th meeting.
I present that motion to accept.
Second.
Second?
Phil. So Phil made the motion, Joe seconded it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous. All right, so we have 3 items on the agenda today. The first being Trans Hudson Management, CVS. That public hearing is still open. Are either of you here to speak on behalf of CVS? Or, okay. Okay, they have asked that we keep the public hearing open till our October 13th meeting.
Okay.
As they are still in front of the planning board, correct? So this has been, a public hearing that's been open for a year, but, it's, since they don't have anything in front of us right now, I don't see any reason why we wouldn't keep it open, so. With that said, I will entertain a motion that we keep the Trans Hudson Management public hearing open through up till our October 13th meeting.
Yay.
Yay. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. And Joe, we can keep that open in perpetuity.
Yep.
All right. Next item on the agenda is Mark and Colleen Shane, 70 North Putz Corner Road. We have delayed the public hearing, or we postponed the public hearing, since they are in front of the planning board. They are requesting that we postpone it again until our October 13th meeting. I will entertain a motion that we continue to postpone it through the October 13th meeting.
I will entertain the motion to postpone.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, moving right along. We have the public hearing for Thomas Waning at 320 Route 32 North. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Why don't you come on up and join us?
Okay.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. I will make a motion that we open the public hearing.
I second. Oh, I'll make the motion.
You make the
I
motion?
apologize.
I'm with you.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, great. Why don't you bring us up to speed again on what it is you're looking to do?
Okay. Figure out which is the better of these maps to show you.
Has it changed from the last one?
No,
Okay.
okay. For some reason, I don't seem to have, I don't have my engineering map, I don't have the map that I showed you.
Is this one of these two?
This is what I have.
Yeah, that's the proposal.
Okay.
Sure it's in here somewhere.
Well, there's 2 maps, right?
Just to make sure we're looking at a map dated 4/20/15, prepared by Robert L. Campbell, LS.
Our maps are dated May 18th.
Yeah, I have May 18th.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's not the proposal.
So we're looking
It
at-
says revised.
It's May 18th.
It says revised.
Well, let's see what I have here. These look to be identical.
Identical, yeah.
Revised May 18th.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, so you want to go off these?
Yeah. So we really only need to look at the one that's dated 5/18, because this is what I want. The other one is what by right I can legally do, but it's not what I want. So the variance I'm looking for is for this one dated 5/18,
Okay.
which simply, cuts off this 100-foot slice here and requires a variance because I only have 50 feet here.
Okay. Have you spoken to any of the neighbors?
I've spoken to the guy who emailed, and his concern has to do with his septic, which doesn't really have any, doesn't make any difference as to this variance.
Kelly, have we received any written correspondence from anybody?
No, we haven't, other than the original email from.
Oh, hi, there you are.
Okay.
Yeah, they got that.
Do either of you have any questions right now? I was going to open up for public.
Yeah, go ahead.
No.
I'm a little behind on this one, so just give me a quick synopsis of what we're trying to achieve here with this lot. It's a good short version.
Did you get a chance to walk it?
No, I didn't.
Look at the other map that you had. And this is the variance that I'm looking for.
Okay.
And this here is what I can legally do by right. But there's a ridge here and woods here.
Okay.
And this piece of property here
Yeah.
biologically belongs to this house. It's part of their lawn.
Okay.
So they mow over here.
Okay.
So it just doesn't logically make any sense for this piece of land to belong to this lot.
But does it belong to this?
It does.
Okay.
Yeah. Logically, it belongs to this.
Okay.
So resulting, now, I would have preferred to put the division right here, but I need, in order for the septic reserve, I have to put this piece in like this.
Okay.
But I still want to preserve this piece for this house because they logically go together. And there's road access is from.
So this is land you're splitting up?
This is land, yes, I have a.
You have a
this-
subdivision?
I'm trying to cut this in two.
Okay.
So I can sell this piece.
Okay.
And retain this piece.
Okay, now I understand. Pretty simple.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions?
No, I don't, because, as you know, we walked it, so I'm clear.
I'd like to hear from those in the audience. If you wouldn't mind, just stand up and announce yourself and...
Okay, over here, you mean?
Sure.
I'm Neil from the Trading Post, the Red Wing store, next to the house that he owns. So the variance sounds good to me, because he wants to keep the lawn there and the trees between the store and the house. That works good for both parties.
Okay.
So I'm for the variance. I think it'll be very good, and it'll also keep an extra, whoever builds that house when it's built, will keep a driveway from coming in from 32 North, and then maybe causing an accident with people pulling out of the store. There's enough problems over there. I've seen cars turn over into the gully on their roof already, so I actually ran out there and pulled the girl out back like 12 years ago. So I'm for the variance. The only concern Never leave the septic alone too, which is from 1940. That still works in the southwest corner of the property. And things that were built in 1940 seem to work good because they were made right. Okay, so that's good. But my only concern, I own 3 Hickory Hill. That's the first lot on the right when you turn into Hickory Hill.
When Hickory Hill is past the property on the right.
Right, it's next to the store, the first, so I've paid at least $17,000 in taxes on that since 2004.
So you're lot 10 here?
I'm lot number 3 on Hickory Hill, the first lot on the right.
The store is here, and the top lot he's talking about
It
is
says
11.
11.
It's 11.
So it backs up to where he wants to do it.
Got it.
So, I don't know if anyone knows Sal Alissi. He was an excavator in the area for many years. Good old Sal Alissi. He built developments in Highland with many, many houses. I mean, he built big developments. And so he was my dad's friend, and he walked the property before I bought it, because I didn't know if I should buy it or not. And he said, as well as the building inspector, Stacy, said, this could be built. It's in the town as vacant residential for a resident. So Sal walked it and he said, even though it's 0.47 acres, almost a half, as long as you put like a small 2-bedroom house, small, that will leave a lot of land, because the house will be smaller and the septic can be in the back. Because my well for the store is in the
This is your house that you built, you're talking about.
the lot that I own.
Right.
If whoever builds it, whether it's me or someone else, the
Yeah.
septic can be in the back, the well can be in the front, near my well from the store. So the 2 wells can be together, but not a septic and a well. So when he does the well for that house, it can't be right in back where my septic would have to go, because that would ruin the whole lot. It would never be able to be built, because you can't have a septic near a well.
I can
But he
show you
has enough
graphically.
land.
I can show you graphically on this engineering map.
Well, do you know where your well would be built, or where your well would go?
Where the engineer put it would go onto his property, but it can be moved to another location,
It would go near my property.
and it wouldn't impact his property at all.
So if your well was over here, it would have an impact on.
Yeah, this is where the engineer put it, and it does impact his property. But this
Right,
guy's
that's
septic
in a
is over
different
here,
spot.
so I could put my well here, and there would be, it'd have to be 100 feet.
I guess I'm just trying to understand this. You have no problem with the variance
Right.
happening, but if the well is put here, it would impact your?
It would impact this lot that I own,
Right.
because you can't put a septic back here if there's a well.
Okay.
But he has so much, and the Board of Health would not allow that. They would watch out for
So
this.
this couldn't put the septic.
No, if the well is here, you would not be able
would
to
not
put
be
your
able to-
Right,
septic
and then the
there.
lot's ruined.
Okay.
And this could be a nice building lot for a
But you still don't have a problem if the well is put there?
No, he has a problem if the well is here.
Right.
If the well is
That I
put,
didn't hear.
if the well is put over here,
100
which would
feet
still
away.
100 feet away, which it just could fit if it were put on the edge here,
Yeah, then it would work.
then it would work.
So you're okay with that, and you're willing to do that?
I'm willing to do
Okay.
that.
Yeah, because there's no, to throw out land on Hickory Hill is silly. That could be a nice house. A professor could rent that from the college or something, small house, so that, I'm good
But
with the
right now, you
variance.
are not proposing any changes to your submission.
No. The only change I'm proposing is where that line is drawn.
Right, but the well as of right now, how you have the plan drawn up would stay where it is.
I'd be willing to change it.
Yeah, you have to
I
change the
understand
well.
you'd be willing to change it, but the application that's in front of us right now is with the well going there.
So what's this mean?
Right. I mean, the location of the proposed well on that map can be changed. I don't know that there's a well location shown on the map with this application at all.
No, there's no well location on that.
Well, this one doesn't have the date on it, right?
That's the one.
Because I show
think
one
was last
here.
revised 5/18/15.
You're not showing a proposed.
Here's the date down here.
Right, no, but this is a different one, and there's no proposed well, that was moved.
Here's a well here. Is that what we're talking about or no?
No.
This is garbage. Let me get that out of here.
Okay. So there's no proposed well on this.
Yeah, I'm good. There's no date on that one.
So, right, you want the 158, last revised 518?
Yes, I have that.
Isn't, Kelly, this is currently before the planning board, right?
Correct.
Okay. Has the planning board sent this board anything on this application?
I don't believe they sent anything in writing, other than what, I wasn't at the first meeting, so whatever Stacy discussed with you all,
Right.
I know the planning board was in favor
they were
of,
in favor of it, and I guess Stacy had some questions, but then that was addressed by Mike and George as to why the planning board favored this.
So this is going back to the planning board?
Yeah, it still has to go
Hasn't
before,
got it.
it still has to have a public hearing before the planning board for subdivision.
Okay.
So all that will be worked out with their subdivision then.
So,
There's another public hearing after this one?
Yeah, the planning board usually holds public hearings on subdivisions, don't you?
I think generally they do. If they grant a conditional final, one of the conditions typically will be that the applicant's going to have to show an approved plan for well and septic, right?
Right. In order to get subdivision approval, he would need this variance from the ZBA. He can't proceed with the planning board until this.
There is no existing septic on your lot number 3 on Hickory Hill, correct?
Right, on lot 3 on Hickory Hill. It's not Board of Health approved yet. It's just raw residential land that I'm paying taxes on. But when the excavator walked it, and he said, no, this is where the septic has to go. It would be like the whole backyard almost, but it could be done. That's fine, there's grass over the septic, it's above ground. As long as, and he has so much land there, as long as he doesn't put a well behind 3 Hickory Hill, that could be a nice two-bedroom house one day, a small house.
are the other lots developed? Is your lot the only one that's not developed on Hickory
There
Hill?
may be, he would know that.
Yeah, they're all developed all the way up, besides that one.
There's one more?
No, they're all,
Oh, on the last one, on
Yeah.
Hickory Hill. And I actually rode my mini bike on that road in '72 when there were no houses. I almost slammed into a deer going up the hill. I used to ride, come in, help my dad, then ride some more. There was not one house there. So it's good that I at least have the last lot, because I was there before anybody. In fact, there was no road there when he first bought the store. That was just all woods. Then they cut the road in '73. He bought the store in '72. So please, just now that the town knows this, there can't be a well behind 3 Hickory Hill. It can go in another spot. You have plenty of land.
Thank
That's
you.
all, and I'm for the variance.
Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
if I can ask
Go right
Joe
ahead.
a question, please. So am I to understand that we need to come to a conclusion on the variance even before this goes back to the planning board? In terms of the well situation, that's what I'm saying. Or should they make that decision first?
I mean, if you granted it, you could put a condition on it.
Right, okay.
That the location of the well to serve this proposed house in this lot, shall not violate Board of Health requirements regarding the separation between the well and septic, but there's no septic on 3 yet.
Right,
So you have to kind of presume it's going to go in the rear, and that a well is not going to violate the Board of Health regs with respect to some proposed
right,
septic in the future.
right, right.
Without that condition, and the well goes here, then this gentleman's lot is not going to be able to put a septic in that location.
Correct, correct. And that was going to be my next question, because I certainly sense goodwill here. So my question was, if we do with a condition is that an option to move forward?
And the applicant is willing to have his engineer meet the condition. Mr. Lonnie, have you spoken to the engineer? Does the engineer say it can be moved?
I haven't spoken to him, it's simply my own judgment from measuring the distances and to my proposed septic and to the septic of the house on lot. I'm not sure what number it is on this.
Where's the septic for the house up front?
The septic for this house is down here, and the reserve would be up here.
The reserve is here.
Yeah.
So if the well would go,
The well would have to go, I can show you on the engineer's plan, but the well would have to go right in this corner here. Because this guy, in order to keep 100 feet from here, and this guy's septic is over here.
Doesn't it? Where's the vacant lot? This is the vacant lot?
This-
Oh, I'm sorry,
that's
okay,
the
got it.
Or conceivably, it could go up here someplace, more expensive, so the ideal spot would be. Is there a setback requirement for the well, for wells?
I'm not sure.
I don't think for the well, but this is your,
This is the neighbor's well here.
right, but the circles are the distance separators, right?
Yes, yeah,
So it's got to be distant 100, it's got to be outside the circle there.
yeah.
Here they are. Here they are.
Well, these are both wells, so the overlap is well.
There was, but apparently they don't have the septic. But the map doesn't show, to this board, the map doesn't show where the
Where the
septic
septic
are.
are. Right.
Basically, we just don't want to render that property useless, because once you put it sounds like the well in that spot, his property, he just,
For future development?
yeah, can grow tomatoes, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Joe, anything you want to add?
No, but it doesn't answer Phil's question. Should this board act before the planning board finishes its,
Well, Kelly, didn't you say he can't go back in front of the planning board without a determination from us?
Well, I mean, he can, but then he would have to change his plan to the original, not needing variance. He couldn't proceed with subdividing the land without the variance.
Right, okay.
They definitely wanted me to go before you and
Understood.
either get or not get the variance before they proceeded.
Understood.
So again, if we provide the variance conditionally to that well septic issue, would that address the issue for the planning board?
well, it would certainly put it before the planning board. I mean, if the planning board, and I would expect that the planning board would take it into consideration when they do their final determination on this. It would be part of the variance, I guess they would have to.
I mean, the other part of the question is, do we throw it back to the planning board and say, look, the zoning board is looking at this favorably, but can you sign off on that well septic issue first? Is that an option? What's the best way to go?
It is. I guess I'm a little concerned that we don't have anything in writing from the planning boards expressly with respect to this plan and the location of those things that seem to be important to some of the people.
That didn't come up in the first hearing.
I suspect maybe that it didn't come up. I suspect if you went back to them with an engineering diagram that's going to show the relocation of the well based on what you hear tonight, that then certainly it's going to come up. And the planning board may be able to answer it.
Well, also, the variance doesn't have anything to do with this problem. It's the same problem whether I go with the legally ordained lot size or
Well,
the variance?
it does. When we get to the 5 questions, it does apply. You know, if you make somebody else's property that zone residential, if you take their right of way to build a house, and then that has an impact.
But I'm saying that the variance doesn't change that problem. It's the same problem. It's the same problem whether I get the variance or not. So the planning board is going to have to deal with this problem, whether we get the variance or not.
Absolutely.
Well, not necessarily. Because if you went back to the original plan, not that you want to, but if you went to the original plan, with the access off of here, you can divide this by right.
Right.
Planning board would never be involved. You could technically put a well in that location and affect the adjoining piece, and the planning board would never be involved. So, once it's here, I think the issue
I see.
is before the municipal boards. Because without it, it wouldn't come up.
And that's a good point, and
You
I
can do it as
appreciate
a right
that.
and put the well there, and nobody would know a difference
Right,
until somebody wanted to do something later with the lot next door, and then it became a problem.
right. And that's a clarification we appreciate, Joe, because if we say okay, then that could be carte blanche, and it could have a lot that's undevelopable moving forward, regardless of what the planning board decides, correct?
Correct. If you don't take it into account and you grant the variance runs with the plan.
Right.
If the plan were to get pulled from the planning board and we're
Right.
back to doing it as a right, the claim could be, I got a variance for this plan and that allowed the well there, or at least the board didn't say anything about a condition of the variance.
Okay. So again,
I mean, there's a lot of ways that other lot could be affected.
Understood. So basically, we're back to, do we provide a variance, grant a variance with the conditions, or do we throw it back to the planning board? You know, and that's where, you know, I would look for guidance.
Is Mr. Logan scheduled to go back to the planning board at this point,
I don't know.
or not?
I don't think there's any,
until
they
something
said
happens?
come back, but they didn't
We
put a
didn't put
date
them
on it.
on an agenda,
Because this plan, the engineering drawing, doesn't look like this plan. What's the plan, the subdivision plan before the planning board? Or does it have yet a third map?
I submitted both of these plans, this one
This map,
and this one over here, saying, this is the one, I said, these are my, this is a 50-foot, there's one with a 100-foot. Let me, it's in my folder, I just haven't.
probably more like this one.
Yeah, this is it. Yeah, this is the one that I said I can do either this one or this one. And they said, well, before we rule on this one, why don't you go, you know,
Right.
see if you can get your variance.
But the planning board didn't take into account this issue of the well and the adjoining.
They had the email from Neil, and they noted it, but they kind of said, well, let's deal with the other problem first.
And you don't have any recommendation from the planning board on that issue. I'm just concerned that if this board puts a condition on it that the planning board might not agree with, or might put it someplace else, you're going to be at odds with their recommendation. And then you're going to think you have a variance, and they're going to say you made an alternative recommendation to the ZBA. I guess I don't understand their reluctance to have submitted something to us in writing.
I think there was just so much going on and Mike's been away so much that it probably just
Yeah, I didn't see any
fell through the
reluctance.
cracks.
Especially without addressing the issue of the well in the adjoining something. But, I mean, maybe they didn't.
But Joe, if we do put the condition on it, okay, about the well and the septic, that it can only be granted based on that condition being fulfilled, Doesn't that protect both parties?
Well, then the planning board pretty much is bound by that as part of,
But that variance does not take effect unless that condition is fulfilled.
well, then it would- whatever, your condition would also have to be that it would have to be subject to subdivision approval by the planning board, because without subdivision approval by the planning board, it doesn't work. The other condition is, I think we've still got to get, I think you still should get a recorded easement on that strip of land that sits between the edge of pavement and boundary line. Because the prior board
You
adopted,
mentioned that at the last meeting, is
the prior board adopted it, but it sounded from the last meeting that nothing, it never got recorded, nothing ever happened.
I'm afraid I did not follow up on that.
Yeah. So another condition would be that an easement for the driveway over that piece has to be obtained from the town board. And I think
Now,
it's
I got a signed and sealed letter granting this. Does it need to be recorded somewhere?
But it's going to need to be recorded, and the problem that I think...
And with whom?
And the problem that I think you're going to have now is that the easement signed by the prior supervisor isn't going to match the other documents that have to get recorded with the easement.
Which other documents?
Well, there's another form that has to get recorded in the clerk's office. The form is called a TP 584, and it's a form that gets recorded in the Bristol County Clerk's office when you do an easement. And I just don't know if the county clerk is going to take that form signed by the current supervisor when the prior easement is signed by a different person.
I see.
I believe we're supposed to agree that we can work out the mechanics of it. The condition would be that a proper easement from the edge of pavement over the lands that have been dedicated to the town of New Paltz has to be recorded in the Ulster County Clerk's office so that he knows he has good access to the property from there. Because if that doesn't happen, there's no access. And you can't grant a variance for something that has no access.
Right.
So that should also be a condition.
Just want to switch gears, and
So one's the well,
the other is access.
the other is,
So this is the signed letter. So how do I go about getting it properly recorded?
well, I think that you or your attorney and I are going to have to put our heads together to find out what the clerk is going to want to record this easement. Because I don't believe they will record this alone. There's at least another form that has to go. And we're going to have to work out, can the board sign that form now and submit this? Or are we going to have to do another resolution before the town board to get this easement?
I see.
And the form, I'll work with you on that. I think that's outside of the ZBA. But I think a proper easement, properly recorded in the clerk's office would be a condition for the variance. Because without it, there's no access for that road. That would be in place. Does that make sense, Joe? See the
Yep.
problem? I mean, it's premised on the idea that he has access to put in at least one driveway.
Right.
From the edge of Mountain View Place, we have to make sure that's in place. Going through that, I don't see any reason why the town board would, if it does have to sign another form, why it wouldn't do that. Especially if this has been approved, variance has been granted, subdivision has been granted. Within the subdivision, I think would have to be contingent on it as well.
Excuse me?
I think the subdivision final approval would have to be contingent on the access as well. So everything really is going to be contingent on site plan.
No, I just
And we'll,
came on for a ride.
Just came along for the ride?
I actually wanted to speak about the septic on the site.
Just give me your name, please.
I'm Fiona Lawrence Payne. I live at 9 Pine Tree Drive, which is, I think it's lot 19 on the, where's this one?
Okay.
Yeah, so, let me orient myself. So this is the existing house, this is the new house, right? So I am, is this 19? I'm this one. Yeah, I'm this one, 17. So, what this doesn't show, it's shown here.
You're
Yeah, this is me, Lawrence, yes, yes. We're, right, we back up to Drostowich, yeah. So here's the new.
So it's a separate road, so you come up further.
Yeah, we come off
and-
Rocky Hill Road. So Rocky Hill Road and Hickory Hill are parallel, and then we're a dead end off Rocky Hill. So my concern is that for this location of the septic, I mean, and this shows it here, it's right over a seasonal stream, which leads into an area down here, which is about a 2-acre pond. And I understand there's no legal protection for the pond. But this pond is already, terribly over-fertilized from everybody else's septic systems and all of the fertilizer that people throw on their lawns. And every year it's choked more and more with weeds and, and such. I don't understand why it would be okay to put a septic in the middle of a stream, but I guess. Is that what this indicates,
Is there a
the stream?
I don't know.
What-
This is a,
Brush lawn.
Brush and woods line.
Oh, okay.
this is just a contour. This
So
is,
that's a contour,
that's a
Okay.
contour.
188, this is
Okay.
190.
I think this is, in the spring, it's down here.
Oh, it's down there, okay.
This is pretty close to, as you see,
Yeah,
Mountain View Place.
right. And I did I actually walked up here. So this, okay, all right, yeah. I had asked at the office and they said they thought that might be a stream. And so I was like, what? It's going right through the middle of the stream? But I guess it's
I don't know how
not.
they could be, that wasn't too flat, was it? Actually, I don't think, we didn't go back that far.
Well,
We
remember,
went
this
through that.
isn't yet an approved location, this is a proposed location. I mean, it could be over a stream.
I mean, now that you're saying that, I believe you. I think it probably is up here. I
And
wish,
and this is,
maybe.
and this is uphill from the proposed location too, correct?
Not really.
No.
This is going from 196
This is uphill. This is uphill. When I walked this the other day, this seemed to be like really the crest right here. It's quite really nice, meadow up here. And it seemed to be on a hill, and then it goes down, definitely goes down far.
If we don't walk back that far.
I mean, you wouldn't even see it now because it's dry.
Right, yeah, everything's dry.
And they even have, the Drostowiches even have a pipe
Yes.
that takes it under their lawn. I guess it's not an issue.
Kelly, did the planning board, has they done any procedure on this at all?
No, they only have the one meeting, third, and here. And that was in June 22nd. And then he needs to still submit an EAF Part 2 documentation from the Ulster County Health Department on the septic system, wells on 2 parcels and neighboring parcels, needs specs for driveway, topo elevation. So he needs a bunch of, he has to address a bunch of things based off of Dave Clauser's original review memo. That would be all of this stuff that we're discussing now. That would be under the planning board's purview,
Do you have Clauser's memo?
not in my CPA file.
So my question is, do we send Mr. Wanning back to the planning board, who's going to say, well, we need a decision from the zoning board before we move forward? Then that's sort of maybe not a great idea. Or can we put it forward with the two conditions, and then they can make decisions? I mean, if we're going to send it back and they say, well, no, we still need a decision from the zoning board, it's going to be a back and forth.
Yeah, which I really, I really don't want to get him into that.
Right.
I'm just a little concerned. It's unusual because it usually doesn't come to this board without more information from the planning board, some recommendation from the planning board about the grant of approval for the variance. And I suspect that nobody has spoken to the planning board about the issue raised here about, or is there any issue regarding the septic in the street?
Nobody's raised it.
Probably never came up because you never.
I think the only reason I know about this, honestly, like, I don't even know the difference between the zoning board and the planning board, is because there was the variance, so I got the letter, otherwise I never would have even known, so.
So, since we only have 3 people here today, if we decided to vote, you would need it to be unanimous, correct?
Correct. But we didn't hear anything from the county planning board either, did we?
It hasn't gotten that far from our planning board yet. It hasn't been referred
It hasn't
to
gone to
county yet
county.
because we need more.
We didn't send the county as well. This was within 500 feet of Route 32.
I don't know if you guys made a motion. I wasn't here, so I don't know if in that meeting you all sent it to county.
No, we did not.
I
See,
didn't see it in
typically,
the,
typically.
I didn't
we
know
go
if
to
you
the
discussed that
county
maybe the planning board would be doing it, so.
They mentioned that, and their anticipation was that they would like the plan because it meant there would be no driveway coming down the 32.
Well, I don't think,
I think you're getting the feeling that the zoning board of appeals isn't necessarily adverse to the plan either.
right.
I think that they would like to know that whatever they're doing on recommendation, or at least with the recommendation of the planning board. They don't have to take it, it's only a recommendation, but they may want to see something more. There's certainly no harm in forwarding your minutes to the planning board. And in fairness to the applicant, I would say sooner than later, with the request that these are the issues that were raised at our hearing, would you entertain them? And maybe use that letter to put you on the agenda at the next meeting, where the planning board might be able to review this a little further, address some of these questions, and come back, send back to this board a recommendation. I wish he had done that before tonight, but then again,
And then would I have to meet in front of you again?
then you conclude the public hearing and end up coming back here again. I'm sorry to do that to you, but I don't know that the planning board ever addressed.
Well, the planning board hasn't yet to hold a public hearing
Right.
because they still need
And Dave Clauser, in his review memo, didn't,
you to be addressed.
to your knowledge, he didn't address these issues to the planning board.
Not yet. I don't think he hasn't made a revised submission yet.
So and I'm kind of feeling that way, and Mr. Wanning, nobody wants to put anybody through anything longer than they need to, but I think I personally would be more comfortable if the i's were dotted and the t's were crossed at the planning board level, and it comes back to us on a clean slate, and we can just kind of sign off on it if everything is in order, because you sense that there is a positive general reaction to all of this if all that is in place. But I would be a little uncomfortable now that we have 2 issues before us without the planning board, at least signing off on it and coming back to us. I defer to my colleagues on that, but that's my opinion.
I have a question. Is there any environmental review for a plan like this?
Typically, the environmental review would be done by the planning board at the time of, during the subdivision application, as part of the subdivision. That's why I asked about whether or not they've done any secret at all, and it sounded like they've got to finish part 2.
What is seeking, can you say?
Secret.
What?
Secret. That environmental reviews.
Okay.
State environmental quality review.
Okay,
sequence.
all right.
So, yeah, I don't think they've done any environmental review. It didn't get that far.
Okay, but that would be part of the process.
It would be part of the subdivision application before the planning.
It seems like the cart came before the horse here. I mean, I don't recall having this before.
Thank you.
I'm glad this meeting is taking place, so everything gets worked
That's
out.
unfortunate.
Any mistakes could be really monumental in money. It's gonna be,
No, we don't want to make your property
thank you.
useless.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Take care.
I think you kind of got sent here a little too soon by the planning. Typically, we ask for, and they will generally give this board a recommendation. They didn't on this one. There was another one that you sent back too that they didn't give you a recommendation on.
He clearly made the recommendation, apparently just didn't get on the paper.
I think what was said was they were in favor of the concept of the plan.
And I suspect that they may have looked at it and said, you know, all it is a variance with respect to access. We'll take care of the other issues, which is okay, but now the other issues have been raised to this board. Yeah.
And frankly, I don't think we would be doing you any favors by making a premature decision. Like, it could cause you problems down the road, so it's better we have it neat and clean and be done with.
Yeah, I can appreciate that they don't want to have to put them through
Right.
a public hearing if there's no chance that a variance is going to be granted. But I don't think they should get that impression from the minutes of this meeting.
Don't we really need to, by law, send it to the Ulster County Planning Board from the ZBA as well?
I think we need to send it to them because it's within 500 feet of the state highway.
We may need to at least start there and make a motion to do that.
Yeah, let's at least make the motion to do that and get it up to the county planning board so that we don't delay them waiting for our planning board to get back and then find out we didn't make a necessary referral. One of the problems is when you're doing a variance that's within 500 feet of its state highway, it's supposed to go to the Ulster County Planning Board so that they can take a look at it. Many times that board will not have comment, they will reserve to local municipalities. Sometimes they have non-binding comments, sometimes they make strong recommendations, but
Is that a hearing, or did they just review it?
no, they just review it, but we want to do that so that they get it for the first meeting in October before the town planning board meeting.
Will they be able to review it based on the information that's provided?
They would, I
For
don't,
us, they're just reviewing the variance.
yeah.
Planning board is going to have to also send the subdivision plans with all of that information and the EAF and all that stuff to the Ulster
Right.
County Planning Board as well.
Although the county could look at this map and say, okay, it shows a proposed, we assume it's a proposed house, it shows a proposed tile field area. Where is the well? The well should be shown on the map. I mean, they may make some recommendations about what the plan should show, because they may say the well and the septic should not adversely impact adjoining properties. They may say we don't have enough information, but that's for the local planning board.
All right, so first thing we need to do is make a motion to send this up to county.
County.
I will make the motion to send it to county.
Second?
Yay.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I think also to make a request of our local planning board that it submit to us its recommendations specifically with respect to the location of the well, the impact upon any adjoining septics.
Does that need to be a motion, or is that something we can just request?
Well, I
Put it in the
suppose-
minutes.
Yeah, put it in the minutes and get it to them and ask them to answer the question. Because I don't want it to go unanswered, then Mr. Lonnie doesn't know what he's doing there or here.
Kelly, did you get that?
Yep.
I make a motion to put that in the minutes, absolutely.
I second.
All in favor? Aye. So, short of getting the information back from the planning board as well as the county, would the next item of business be to keep the public hearing open?
I would, because you want to make sure that you receive the information that comes back to you from the county. You don't want to close, from the town planning board, you don't want to close that door. And Mr. Wine maybe comes back with a plan showing
Right.
where his engineer says the well can go.
I would feel much more comfortable seeing all that before rendering any decision, and I'm sure my colleagues would as well.
I would agree.
Do you have anything else that you want to add?
The only thing that's in my mind is that responding to many of the requests of the planning board was going to require getting my surveyor to refine his survey. And for the sake of that, I was hoping to be able to say, okay, this is where the boundaries are going to be.
I can appreciate that. I really can appreciate that, but unfortunately, I wouldn't be
I mean, in
comfortable.
terms of the line,
Yeah, in terms of the line.
I don't know. Does anybody on the board, do they have any particular problems with the configuration of the lot?
Well, is the line going to change as a result of any of
The
this?
only thing we've really discussed is the well,
Yeah.
as well as the septic. And like, you talked about moving the well further back, so I don't know, how would that impact
The line.
the property line?
Nothing. Has no
Okay.
effect on
So-
that. So I'll go ahead with it.
And you think that the proposed well can move back
And
and
still,
still be 100
100
feet from that
yeah.
septic? And still be 100 feet from the anticipated location of that septic?
Yeah.
Doesn't that put it in a little bit?
If it was here, it would be roughly the same circle as this one.
And distant from there far enough? Yeah, I don't know what those dimensions are, but
No, it seems to me it fits in.
somebody's got to figure that out.
Well,
Board of Health anyway.
Right, I mean, I'd be much more comfortable with you coming back with those questions answered before we acted. So with that being said, I'll entertain a motion that we keep the public hearing open until our October 13th meeting.
Proposal.
Opposed. We're in.
So Joe made the motion?
Yeah, I made the
second.
motion.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And as far as recording the easement, what steps do I need to take?
Well, I'm gonna have to, let me check with the county clerk. There's at least one other fellow that has to be done, I know that. So let me check with them and see if that form and the current easement, if you can record them together. Or if you need a new easement.
Kelly, is he going to be able to get on the planning board's agenda for this month?
I'm sure Mike would entertain it, but I mean, we'd like him to come back with
Some
revised
information.
documentation. You can't just show up with nothing new for
Right.
them.
So that this may be, might not be next month that we have you on the agenda again. Okay. Should manage your expectations and ours as well.
You have to follow the submission deadlines.
Okay.
So when would be the submission deadline for the upcoming month?
I don't have it with me, it's right online, only because we have to follow that schedule because of
Joe, you have anything you want to
the
add?
time period for the board and the general public to review any new information.
I'm going to give this back to you, it's undated, in case you need it for something else. All right, well, thank you.
Okay.
sorry, it's a question, but we need to do our due diligence as well. Any old business?
This is good.
All business?
I have none?
Any administrative issues?
None?
Well, let's see, I would entertain a motion that we adjourn the meeting at 7:56.
Second. He made it, right?
Joe made the motion?
You
Bill
made the motion.
seconded?
It sounded like you made the motion.
All in favor? Aye.